I get asked a lot about DHEA because I've noticed a lot of physicians, if somebody comes to them and they're like, I want to test my hormones, and your physician is listening, DHEA is like one of the hormones they throw in that they will look at, because probably what they're hearing is about its relationship to PCOS is my guess. But I've realized and seen from clients and women I speak to online that like physicians don't really know what to do, it seems, with DHEA unless it's like wildly out of range. So we really want to be mindful when we talk about DHEA, what other problems could be happening, because no hormone acts alone. And so straight up just supplementing with DHEA without having like a really good picture of like what your day-to-day life looks like, what your other hormones look like, and a reminder if you're in your cycling years, blood work to look at things like estradiol and progesterone is not the way to go. To look at FSH, LH, any of these hormones that change throughout your cycle, that it's not a good way to look at it. All we know then is that's what your level was on day 7 of this current cycle. It doesn't really tell us anything beyond that. And I've seen plenty of Dutch tests and saliva tests that I've run on women where we're doing their whole cycle and they're collecting samples like every other day, every third day. I have seen women where if they had their blood work done, for example, on the 2nd day of their cycle or the 4th day of their cycle, they would show in range. And guess what? Then a problem shows up after that. And we see wildly out of range estradiol or wildly low progesterone, and you would never capture that unless you happen to by some miracle test the blood on the right day, or you saw one of these labs that shows us throughout your cycle, throughout your 26 to 34 day cycle, if you're within optimal normal ranges, or whatever the case may be for you personally. With DHEA though, we really want to be thinking about what is happening with your body. What are the stressors on your body? Because DHEA tends to get regulated when we've got a blood sugar problem. It tends to get regulated when we've got a stress problem. Hello, I have a whole group program called the Balanced Cortisol Academy, really dedicated to stressors on the body. And the beautiful thing about that is when we look at and we use cortisol as a proxy and we look at your symptoms to assess what cortisol might be up to, and we implement the strategies I teach in the group program, you actually see many hormones improve. And that is the beauty of working on hormones holistically and as a whole. Okay, but back to the point. So we have to be thinking about stress on your body majorly. We have to be thinking about your toxin exposure. We have to be thinking about your day-to-day habits. What's your sleep like? What's your exercise like? Are you eating enough? So there are a lot of factors that we want to think about when we consider DHEA. And especially for women in your cycling years, before you run to take supplemental DHEA, please take the time to adjust your habits and look at these factors first.